this stage, but obviously still was playing and didn't know that at the time. So BratOK versus Rail, best of 3. And game number 1 on blue shift with BratOK in the top right hand side, our red Terran. In the bottom left of the player, we still have 2 matches to see from. This is a blue cross Rail. So if he wins this series, he's guaranteed through the group. And then he will fight Radar to see if he gets through the group and what scoreline he will get through the group with. So I guess if he wins this 2-0, he's already guaranteed first place in the group actually, because he would be 6-1. Whereas Geralt is currently 6-4, so at worst, Rail ends up 6-3. If he wins 2-1, then he'd be 6-2. Then he would need to win a map against Raynor to at least advance in first. Otherwise, Geralt would... No, well, no. If he's 6-2, that's still okay, because then if he gets 2-0'd, he's still got a better map score than Geralt, so... Yeah, I think Rail is very, very likely to do well here. Depends what he... Let's see how this game goes. It's a bit late. It's been a long day for all the math. Intrigued. Isn't all music just random noise by that logic? Okay. Not necessarily, right? Because it depends on what your definition of music is, right? And our definition of music is generally like, you know, there's a lot of traditional instruments that very traditionally make up music, right? And then obviously electronic music is very different, but it's still based off of traditional instruments like synthesizers and drums and stuff like that. Still sort of makes up music, but this is like kind of, you know, weird beeps and machine sounds, and it's not kind of as traditional, I guess, maybe. It just seems like, I'd say that it's fair to say they're more random sounds than other music. Anyways, get this going. That's probably a really terrible explanation of what I was trying to think of in my head, so I'm just going to nod and move on no matter what anyone says in chat. Just try and get on before anyone calls me out or anything. I mean, I like electronic music as well, so... Man, Rail is back to doing what he was doing against Seoul earlier on today, which led him to a 2-1 victory. This free gate opening into the later Robo. It's interesting. The free gates allow him to put on quite a bit of pressure. And he's kind of the only Protoss I see doing this at the moment. Like, everyone else is, you know, going in towards... You know, tech right away still. They're definitely not adding on extra gateways. I can tell you that much. So this is actually, kind of interesting. Adept and the Stalker just setting up at the front. Twilight Council drops in the back of the main base here from Rail. So he's going to actually go into Twilight Council to follow this up. So a little bit different to earlier. We'll see if he does just go into that faster blink, which would be the very regular way of kind of setting up in towards this. Yeah, let's see what his plan might be. So a couple of Stalkers and Adept and a Sentry all coming across, going to be getting up here in a moment or two. Background vision's pretty good though, so the Marines just shut this down instantly. He's using reactor in that Marine, so he actually has quite a lot of them, and just sitting in the front here, not afraid of anything. Kind of puts BratOK in a nice little position as we see that tank sieging up. It's a good shot off onto those Stalkers there already. Marines turn around to again push back a little bit. And again, just going to be seeing this SCV coming down to the bottom left-hand side. Rubber facility gets built up in the main, and we're just going to be seeing again a few Stalkers, an Adept, and a Sentry. Obviously, I've had enough of trying to push across. Going into extra gates and straight into charge, actually. Very aggressive feels coming through here from Rail. Feels like he wants to just get, like, dive in. Just kind of go straight into this. Try and fight from the get-go. Charge with no fast upgrades or anything. Interesting. SCV gets picked off. There's again just going to be seeing these rocks continue to be picked away at. And we do have some of these units from BratOK pushing across here. Liberator sieges up in the main. As you see those Marines able to press forwards, and we do see the Nexus taking some damage. Second tank going to siege as the Widow Mine is going to be good for nothing at the moment. So Widow Mine not good for anything there, as we're going to be seeing. Again, the few Marines just able to try and make their way through that Nexus. Widow Mine shot doesn't go down. Again, this Liberator going to try and set up, and is going to be able to set up pretty nicely to start cleaning out some of these Zealots, but the Zealots are actually making their way through to that tank without the Lib there to help out. Liberator still firing, Zealots still going down, Marines in a lot of trouble here as, a sentry goes down. Big pick off there as well. A couple of probes drop over the natural as BratOK goes for what I feel like is just his stylistic Viking harassment. Like, I know other Terrans do this as well, but I feel BratOK today has used it so much more than we see Terrans usually use it. +1 attack and +1 armor coming through, Stimpack and combat shields coming in as well. But that's not ready to help defend this attack at the moment, so reliant on the tank on the high ground as he is going to force rail the natural expansion to lift up. A Liberator sieging up on the third base back at home. We're going to be seeing this third obviously damaged, but already getting its shields back as Stalkers will be able to clean this Liberator up. And Viking over here wants to get back into the Bane as well, get some more SCV probes, making up for the few SCVs that have been lost. Viking now going down, so a few probes coming in. Look, it's hectic then on each side of the map. Players are kind of throwing units at each other and having a pretty good time of it. Guys, I'm sorry. I just can't do this anymore. I just need to put continuous music on. Like, I just can't have no background music. It's been there for like a couple of games. I just can't do it anymore. I just can't. Gotta turn it on. There we go. Seems so much better. Third Orbital moves in, lands down into position. Templar Archives is finishing up in the main base here, and we are going to be seeing this War Prism heading out onto the map. Is he going to take any units with him? He actually pulls it back to the main, so maybe just wants to wait and use this as a High Templar kind of carrier, rather than actually as a harassment machine. Anyone knows what's up with Raynor? People, honestly, this poor kid plays like a couple online tournaments and doesn't do so hot because his PC's not so great. Maybe he's just having a bit of an off week. And I was like, hey guys, do you think Reynor's gonna be any good anymore? Is Raynor just bad at StarCraft now? Poor kid. Nothing's up with Raynor. He's just maybe not having a good week. I know he had some PC issues last week as well. I mean, he went 7-0 in his home story cup group at like not even 2-3 weeks ago. Like, kid's still pretty good. Don't think you guys have to worry. It's just, you know, it's online tournaments. They play very differently to offline events. It's always worth keeping in mind. Online and offline is actually such a different environment. Two medevacs hiding in the top left-hand side here, as we do just see the 2-2 upgrades from, man, BratOK is so far ahead on those upgrades. 2-2 already on the way out? That's a little bit crazy. Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of going to be really bad for Rail if he wants to keep on playing this style without splash damage. With splash damage, upgrades maybe can be overcome, but without splash damage, I mean, I know he's got storms, but only a couple of Templar. He is still so reliant on this gateway force. Pushing forward here, you're going to be seeing a couple of Widow Mines. Actually don't go off too badly. This is actually really nice so far out of Rail, I think. Good engagement. Widow Mines didn't do a lot. Didn't pick up too much there as well, though. When he loses a High Templar towards the end, that's expensive. And now BratOK gets a drop into the main base. He's going to go for these units, which are going to run through a little bit of a choke point there. So it's a very good position for our Terran, who's going to be able to get that High Templar as well, which threw the feedback down. This pylon will empower a whole bunch of gateways. As we do see the medevacs being chased down by Stalkers. Recall home from Rail. But all of his gates unpowered, so he will miss warp-in cycles from this. And these Marines still doing damage here, backing away and just going for a few more probes, toggling down what he can, gets 8, 9, 10 workers. And with, again, the fact that BratOK is going up on upgrades, This is looking like a very good game for our Terran player here, who puts himself in a strong spot now. Alright, so setting this up. Fire coming down at the bottom. Watch targets taken, and we are going to be seeing these few zealots, Immortal, etc. coming forwards. Stalker's up to the top. Scan coming down. Storm will drop, and the Bio will not get the chance to move forwards here. The Liberator siege up, getting a few probe kills at the moment. 4 probes going down. 2 more Liberators heading over. I mean, BratOK is really playing a hell of a game at the moment. As you do see, the Stalkers on the top side are going to be able to get rid of the Refinery here. An SCV or 2 also dropping down. Done a little bit of harassment at the moment, as we do see these Marines going down as well. I mean, obviously, BratOK is doing a lot on the other side of the map as well with these Liberators. He shows up and kills the 4th base of his main army as well. Tank gets siege, but blinking forwards will actually just lead you into Widow Mines, so there's not that many Stalkers going to be left here soon. And those medevacs boosted in towards the main base, as we see Rail has a Colossus up, but still has to deal with this. Oh, he's going to get a medevac with a lot of units still on the side. That's a nice pick-off. War Prism and the Colossus coming up here, as you see. Oh, Colossus taking some hits. Blinking forwards, gets another medevac. Rail is really starting to make this happen. Able to get a lot of damage done after being so behind. He's about to equal up the upgrades as well, 2-2 apiece. So this game is really turning into something at the moment. Something that Rail can maybe take advantage of. Maybe get himself back into. After, again, it really wasn't looking promising. Free upgrades from our Terran player. I mean, Rail doesn't skip a beat, goes straight into his +3 attack. Obviously, BratOK stopped the upgrades for quite a while to get into this. We see the results charging in towards those set of rocks here. Mortal and the Colossus helping to take it down. Scan over in the main base, looking to see if it's safe to drop this set of units in, but unable to at the moment. Liberator down the left side. As it wants to come in behind this mineral line, but there's a couple of cannons here for where it's rallied up, but it has range, so it's actually going to be good to be such an annoying little position there. Man, BratOK has been so annoying this game. How many workers have gone down on each side? 33 probes, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there hasn't been anything like crazy. Like, there's not been one moment where like 20 probes go down at once. It's just been consistent, and that's what's, I think, so impressive about it. Some Liberators getting set up. So we've seen the Bioforce able to pick up a pylon here. As you see, Zard, Stalkers, High Templar gathering up there down on the bottom side. A few High Templar are going to load up and come in for the flank here, so Rail going to try and make this fight work for him. He's trying to retake that 4th base. He's just getting it saturated. High Templar drops straight on top of this. The Widow Mines will have to get some kills. The Storms are pretty good, but that was expensive, of course. Here we go. Blinking forwards, we're going to see the Stalkers. Oh, the Widow Mines! And then the Storm actually kind of kills a lot of the Zealots as well anyways. BratOK is going to lose this army, but it wasn't cheap for our Protoss player, losing a lot of Stalkers. And now recalling down to the bottom side to deal with this push as well. BratOK is still pulling Geralt all over the map here at the moment. And as you see those units backing away, some of the Marines, some of the Marauders. The Phoenix is going to be moving around itself and seeing where it can get to. Zealots coming in the top side. SCVs are in a little bit of trouble as well. Liberators coming over and sieging up. And again, just going to see them still pressing forwards here with that Bioforce. Continue to come forwards. Immortal going to go down. A couple more Liberators on the way up from BratOK as well. Just a couple of Colossus just working their way through this set of rocks here. Okay, gets rid of the rocks, and here we go. Pressing forwards, those Marauders taking quite a bit of damage. Stalkers will blink forwards here. Multiple Liberators currently on the way down. High Templar in some trouble as well. Man, it's just not enough to get rid of the Libs. Another Storm. The Bio is low as well, though. It's just those Liberators. There's nothing to respond to them, and BratOK is taking another base in this position. So if Rail can't push through this position, that base is going to be very, very troubled. Another scan coming down. And as we do see more Liberators just getting sieged. What's the income looking like? Very BratOK favored. He's been much better with his economy throughout this. Hasn't been losing as much. Those Liberators are picking off High Templar at the moment. Man, these are expensive losses from Rail. I get it. Sure, he's cleaning up, but he's lost all of his High Templar. And he's cleaned up all the Liberators too, but there was so many HTs in this. He is going to press forwards. This planetary force isn't ready yet. A little bit more bio showing up from BratOK to push this away. Those few Marauders trying to see what they can do. Liberator will siege up again. Two of these Liberators getting sieged up. Actually, Tempest being chrono boosted out. Rail going to bring this up towards the top side. All of these Libs getting sieged. High Templar is able to dodge away from the moment. Coming around the top side now. Missile turret already just in a little bit of trouble there. 4 more Liberators on the way out. And again, Rail just trying to see what he can do. Tempest shots picking away at those Libs just slightly. Picks off that missile turret as well. Down on the bottom side, this Liberator BratOK going to be coming through. Going to be pushing across and going to siege up on the bat on top of this mineral line in the near future. Again, there's a medevacs loading from BratOK as we see that Tempest is picking its way through those SCVs. A couple SCVs going down again. The medevacs boosting across through the top side. To the bottom, a couple of probes going down as well. 3 workers being killed off here. And there's again Rail coming up to the top. And he's going to be able to get a little bit of damage done. Missile turret being picked away from a distance. But BratOK's big counterattack drop could be huge, because as long as Rail can't break through here, BratOK's just going to find damage. And I would like to see one medevac peel away and pick off this base, right? And he does exactly that, because it is just unprotected, and one medevac will get so much done. These medevacs unable to get in here. Rail recalled back once again, consistently using these recalls to reposition his army. He's used them a lot in this game. However, now BratOK can maybe just unsiege and push this base overall. Remember, pushing down this direction is very easy for him because it's from this base here, and it's a very narrow section here, so Liberators are going to be super powered almost. So as this drop to the top side, so the other way you could play this, push down to the bottom, and then also come in with this drop to the top. That's the 2 styles he could play right now. Let's see what he chooses for. It looks like he's going to come down to the bottom and set up the drop on the top side at the same time. Scans, sees actually not much of the army there at all. Sees just 1 Stalker. Scans here too, seeing nothing at all, man. He's going to be... I mean, this base has a few probes on it as well, so it is important. Here we go, Liberators starting siege on up, and all the Liberators are here. Rail actually presses forwards, but this drop's going to come in at the same time. High Templar distracted. They go down without a cast. And that's obviously a huge deal. High Templar going down without a cast right there, as the bio will continue to press through this Nexus. It's going to go down. Shield battery goes down. On the top side, these medevacs going to have to boost in towards the natural expansion. GG is called. BratOK takes game number 1 of this best of 3. Bottom right hand side of the map, our red Terran player from Starcom is BratOK, taking the lead in this best of 3. Just like he did in that last TVP as well, though. See if he can actually close this one out. As to the top left, our Blue Protoss from... Blue Protoss here is Rail. I was about to say from, and I was like, well, actually, I don't know what team Rail is on somehow, so... Try to save that one, then explain it to you anyways, so you can all call me an idiot no matter what. Brilliant. 200 IQ players by myself there. Game number 2 of the series. Rail is in a great position in this group, remember. He is currently 2-0. He just needs to win a series against either BratOK or Raynor. He would be guaranteed through the group. But if he was to lose to BratOK and to Raynor, there's very real possibility he doesn't advance through. A very real possibility. Chrono boost here. As we see the factory on the way up in the main base. Second refinery coming down. Man, sorry guys, I'm starting to lose a little bit of focus here this evening. Not been going too long, only 5.5-ish hours, but I was a little bit tired coming today. If you didn't hear my story earlier, I had to wake up early to get some stuff done. I was planning on going back to sleep for a couple hours. Then my dad had to go to the dentist, so I had to go pick him up and take him. And there you go. Yeah, that's my fab story. So basically I didn't get to nap. So I came in today with like a 4-hour sleep, and we got over it quite well, but I'm trailing off a little bit here towards the end right now. I'm not gonna lie, I can feel it. I can feel it. So apologies if we're missing a couple things. Sorry if it feels a little low energy in here tonight. It's just been one of those days, unfortunately. But we've also got full day full of StarCraft tomorrow. Again, I'm casting the 2018 has left the game final bracket from 1 PM CET, so that's in about 13 hours from now. And I'm also going to be seeing the casting the Fight Before Christmas, an online cup I'm running tomorrow evening on BratOK, so that's coming up on BratOK tomorrow. And then on Thursday I'm doing a double stream. We've got Kung Fu Cup followed by the playoffs of the WardiTV Christmas Invitational. And then on Friday we're going to be doing the Gotta Down on Friday tournament funded by Twitch chat yesterday. It's going to be our bonus cup coming up on Friday. Look forward to that. Bonus content. Why are Marines so small compared to Zealots? Because Marines are mere people, and Zealots are fucking badass alien sort of dudes with super technology to grow themselves into badass beasts with side blades and shit. Yeah, basically, guys, the result of this series doesn't matter. If you're interested in Raynor, the result of this series doesn't matter. Raynor just has to beat Rail. And I don't even think it matters what map score Raynor beats Rail with. But that would be the straight up has to do to get through this group, basically. So that's kind of essential at the moment. That's the position Raynor's in. A must-win series coming up after this. We see an SCV being taken down here. Yeah, being a Marine against a Zerglin would be terrifying. Just gonna be seeing these Marines and tanks starting to press forwards. A couple of Vikings going up to the top. BratOK doing a push that we've seen from him a few times today. See how Rail deals with it. Needs to split away from this first Widow Mine. Kinda just doesn't. Ooh, it targets the sentry, so Guardian Shield gets taken down here. Immortal's pretty quick to get onto the tank, and the Immortal will survive as well. Slow Marines now is all that's left over as the Vikings head to the main. Immediately Stalkers warp in to try and defend this with 4 Stalkers and even a couple of Zealots. This is 6 gates already. It means it's a lot of defensive capability. Vikings go down without a fight, and actually BratOK just doesn't have anything left. BratOK actually doesn't have anything left. Warp Prism gets set into warp-in mode. Some coming in at the front. The Stalkers, the Immortal going to start poking on the depots. Man, this is this might just be game. Right. BratOK just lost so much on this push forwards. I mean, Rail just had the right setup, right? Oh, the tank can unsiege. So the units can press in anyways. I mean, he has to unsiege in a way to pull away from those Zealots, but I mean, BratOK pulls up to the high ground trying to defend. Extra Zealots warping into the main. The Zealots are going huge. This tank just takes a beating already. Goes down now, and well, SCV is going to try and rest repair the other tank, but Rail has too much. And Rail very easily cruises through to tying up this series 1-2. I literally just counted up to it. I mean, not really counting the days. I was just telling people when it's going to be. Imagine that. Imagine being about to say 3 weeks and then you realize it's actually just 1 day less than 3 weeks. So instead of saying 3 weeks, you're like 20 days. Imagine that. You're 14. Aye, aye, aye. You shouldn't listen to my stream, dude. I say some really bad shit sometimes. You do not want to listen to what I have to say, I'm telling you that. Hey, hey, hey. Alright, bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player. This is BratOK. As the top right, our blue Protoss is Rail, who again with a win in this game now will secure himself through the group. What's our racial balance looking like for this tournament, by the way? So we've got 2, 3, 4 Protoss. We're gonna have like, if Rail wins this, we're gonna have 7 Protoss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. We have 6 Protoss in the playoffs. Wow. We have 1, 2, 3 Terrans at the moment. Well, Sol isn't looking too hot at the moment if Reno ends up winning. And we have 1, 2. We only have 2 Zergs. Come on, Reno. We need you, buddy. We actually need Reno to win for Zerg representation. Oh, excuse me as I try and get some energy into myself. I appreciate this has turned into a bit of a slumber fest. So okay guys, Reno up against Rail after this series as well, going to be awesome. Going to be a very exciting day to wrap things up. Geralt dominating the group, what's going on? Yeah man, pretty sick. If Rail wins this, him and Geralt are up at the top of the group. It's probably the Hydra nerf. I mean, it's just one tournament. You can't really take much into consideration of that. When you consider the players, when you look at it, I think, honestly, the groups have gone very much so as expected. I wouldn't say we've really had any upsets in groups, per se. Like, you know, in terms of players that advanced, I feel like this is the only group that maybe is going to have an upset. So, I don't think it's really worth whining about racial balance. As is mentioned, out of genuine interest of how many races we have going into the playoffs. SCV getting a couple of shots off there as the Hellions able to deal some damage. The Adept shading away pretty quickly though, as we have 2 gateways coming up on the main base. Stalker and the Sentry just hanging out at the front. Geralt going top is pretty wild, but I mean Rail still has the chance to overtake him, right? What's Rail at right now? Say when Rail wins the series, he'll be 6-2. So actually, if he's 6-2, he's already top of the group instead of Geralt. Because if he wins this and he goes 6-2, even if he gets 2-0 by Reno, he'd be 6-4. They'd be equal map score. But he beat Geralt in the PvP, so that'd actually be kind of huge. So yeah, Rail's actually on the verge of topping this group here. BratOK going into a Stimpack based opening, so really focusing on the bio rather than tank pushes, which have been a little bit more unsuccessful for him recently than they were earlier, so it makes sense to kind of change it up a little bit. As you see Rail with his typical 3-gate opening into the charge, so kind of again the build that he's been doing earlier today as well. Stalker's just going to run past the bunker. I like it. I mean, does he actually know what's up as well? He did see the racks here. This is the perfect decision then. Knowing that this is Rax play, running past the bunker is amazing because now you can start picking off so many of these SCVs. And obviously, like the Marines, you can kite against them for an absolute eternity. So, yes, a lot of units are going to go down here, but we're talking about 13 workers killed. Going to get a mule at the end here as well, at the very least. Going to get one more SCV. Okay, 14 workers killed for the entire army, which wasn't even that large an army. 5 Stalkers and an Adept. Okay, sure, but like 14 SCVs. Now, if this was like tanks and Marines and stuff, I'd be very scared for Rail on the counterattack. But this is Stim and Bio units, and so I just don't know if I'm as afraid for him. As he has a lot of gates coming up, he's got charge about to be ready. I think he should be kind of okay here. I think he should be kind of okay in this. Plus 1 attack upgrade on the engineering bay. As you see, the hallucinated phoenix is going to head towards the main base. Jumping into the main is... You just see one medevac popping out, coming over towards those Marines on the front, and again, just going to see the Marines wandering over to get that hallucination. One Marine's coming down. This army of BratOK. Go and get onto the map now. I mean, with 2 medevacs, you should be on the map, I feel. Especially after taking damage early. This is like your chance, right? And I think it is the one thing that Rail is weaker against, maybe when the drops come out, because he doesn't have Blink yet. He doesn't really have any drop defense apart from just warping in Zealots and having his units pre-positioned. So I feel like this is one of the better chances for BratOK to already be dealing damage, but he isn't doing anything with it. Bay dropping down in the back of the natural. As you see the prism coming in as soon as BratOK moves out. Man, I mean, this is the thing, he's just giving Rail some freedom as well. So Rail's had time to just be like, okay, build a prism, get it across the map. As soon as you move out, I will move in. Like, Rail's just had time to prepare that because there's been no pressure at all coming in from BratOK until this stage. So Rail's just being allowed to play his own game at the moment, and I kind of feel like Rail's having a little bit of fun with it. He's coming up here, Zealots will charge forwards, has to be careful. I mean, those Marines do have Sim and +1. And one of the things about Rail's build is he doesn't get a Forge for a very long time, so he does have very late upgrades compared to what you might usually expect. Nice lifts on the Marines in the front. Obviously then the Zealots can't do much because of the force fields. Fire army still getting set up to go, and just going to be seeing it all kind of pulling back. As you see some SCVs going to pull off the line. Marines and Marauders heading across to the upper right-hand side as well. That's Warprism in some trouble as these Zealots are going to come on in. A couple of Marines already starting to go down. Quite a lot being done here as we do see again this entire Bioforce from BratOK coming into the top right-hand side of the map. And here we go. Let's see if he can make something happen as we see the Zealots start to charge on forwards. He has some SCVs in this, but the SCVs aren't in the front tanking, so they're kind of just dead weight on the army. Stalker's trying to target down the medevacs a little bit as well, but also just putting out decent damage onto the Marines as they will keep on stimming forwards. You can see that Zealot going down, a Stalker in some trouble too. Probes are trying to pull into this as well. They will be brought to the front. And as BratOK, well, this Colossus could be everything, right? Because if this Colossus can clean up those Marines, this is really bad for BratOK. He's lost a ton of workers. That Colossus staying alive for the moment. The Colossus is turning the game around. That Colossus with a full 180 on this engagement. This looked like BratOK had probably broken through, but the Colossus is absolutely going to change it. Suddenly Stalkers pick off the rest of the medevacs, and Rail has absolutely nothing left to work with here. Another blink forwards. A Widowmine shot will kill a Stalker, sure, but BratOK he's just in retreat, and Rail is just picking up units for free now. That Colossus absolutely brilliant, as we are going to be seeing Rail picking up the 2-1 against BratOK here. GG. Rail takes it down.